Application for Merchant Mariner Credential Form CG 719B, Section 3, Safety and Suitability. The very first part here says TWIC, Transportation Worker Identification Credential, Exemption Statement. I previously applied for a TWIC with TSA and I am exempt from holding a valid TWIC under Coast Guard Policy Letter 11-15. I understand that a name-based safety and suitability check could significantly delay the process of my Merchant Mariner Credential application. For an original license, you have to go to a TWIC office, which is run by the TSA, and apply for a TWIC card, a Transportation Worker Identification Credential. During this application process, they do a background check, they get your fingerprints digitally, and they take a picture of you. That picture is used on your captain's license or Merchant Mariner credential, and then the Coast Guard has access to that background check and your digital fingerprints. So for an original, leave this blank. If you're renewing your license or modifying your license and you have already gone to the TWIC office, done the background check, done the fingerprints, and got your picture taken, then in most cases, you do not need to hold a valid TWIC license. And in that case, you would check this box saying, I already did the TWIC, I don't need a TWIC, I'm good to go. But for an original OUPV, Masters, pretty much any license you're getting into, you have to go to that TWIC office and leave this blank for an original. The second part is criminal record, convictions, and drug use. If you answer yes to any of the questions below, you must disclose the information regarding the conviction. You may complete the optional form CG 719C for each question marked yes. To find this form, you can go to U.S. Captain's Training. In the footer, on every page, down near the bottom, you can click on Conviction Disclosure, and that'll bring up the form. So let's jump into 2, A through F. These are all questions. Have you ever been a user of or addicted to a dangerous drug, including marijuana, within the last 10 years? B, have you ever been convicted of violating a dangerous drug law of the United States, District of Columbia, or any state or territory of the United States? C, have you ever been convicted by any court, including military court, for an offense other than a minor traffic violation? D, have you ever been convicted of a traffic infraction arising in a connection with a fatal traffic accident, reckless driving or racing on a highway, or operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of or impaired by alcohol or a controlled substance? Have you ever had your driver's license revoked or suspended for refusing to submit an alcohol or drug test? Have you had a drug test with a result other than negative within the last 10 years? If you answer yes to any of these, for example, letter D, this is if you ever had a DUI or an OUIL, this is probably the most common scenario we get asked questions about at U.S. Captain's Training. So if you answered yes and you're like, oh man, 10 years ago I got a DUI, you have to answer yes, and then you fill out this conviction disclosure statement on form CG 719C. And as long as your driver's license is in good standing, you should be good to go here. Now, the last part, National Driver Registry, NDR. This is the consent for the National Driver's Registry. And this is mandatory for originals, renewals, or officer endorsements, and says, I authorize the National Driver Registry to furnish the U.S. Coast Guard information pertaining to my driving record. This consent constitutes authorization for a single access to the information contained in the NDR to verify information provided in this application. What that said is the Coast Guard has permission to verify with the National Driver Registry that these above questions were answered truthfully. And this must be marked with a check when you hand this in, or it won't go through. So that's the application for Merchant Mariner Credential Form CG719B, Section 3, Safety and Suitability.